Hello, hello, and welcome back. All right, to get a little perspective on time, right now we are in November of 2020. It's almost Thanksgiving, and the news cycle is filled with lockdowns and fear of the coronavirus. Riots and violence and homicides have increased. Politically, we are more polarized than ever before. And basically, if you watch the news, you are seeing a world of increasing chaos and confusion. Well, a few days ago, President Russell M. Nelson, a modern day prophet with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, announced that he had a message for the whole world. So I, along with over 1 million others, tuned in to hear what he would have to say at this tumultuous and chaotic time. Well, his message was a prescription on how to survive, how to cope, how to heal, how to manage the pain of all the trials and challenges that we face as a nation or as individuals. If you haven't listened to it, just go to YouTube and type in President Nelson, the healing power of gratitude. And in those 11 minutes, you will hear a beautiful message and will be given not only an answer, but tools on how we can effectively navigate our lives at this crazy time. Well, for me, this wasn't just a nice and timely message. I have been obsessed with the desire, the need, and the power of gratitude. Gratitude is everything, and let me tell you why I believe that from my perspective. First of all, on a very practical level, I can tell you the value of gratitude. I grew up with two very gracious parents. They thanked everyone. One of my mom's favorite hobbies was writing thank you notes, whether it was to the person who spoke at church on Sunday, or just like last week, she wrote a note to the paper boy, who has always been so kind to place the newspaper on the front doorstep so that it'd be easy for her to retrieve it. Thank you was without a doubt the most frequent words that fell from my dad's lips. The moment someone arrived on the scene or even attempted a gesture, he was quick to say thank you. Both of my parents were full of gratitude. You know how sometimes people can have the attitude of, well, I'm paying you for this service, so you better do it right, or you better be here when you say you'll be here, or whatever. Sometimes we just position ourselves in a more demanding or condescending way if we are paying for a service. Well, frankly, that didn't happen at our home. Gratitude was their strongest virtue and their greatest power. And I watched in awe at how it served them on a very practical level. I learned that graciousness gets us further in life than being demanding or prideful. Graciousness is a very attractive quality that brings people to you. In fact, people will bend over backwards for you. They will go out of their way for you. They will work overtime for you. They will give their all for you if they feel appreciated. It makes people feel good and loved. It just produces the best of friends and the most loyal employees. So on a very practical level, I learned that gratitude brings a lot of love and a lot of good people into our lives. Now, let me tell you how gratitude has worked on a deeper level. Okay, as you know, I spent 30 years looking for my husband. I wanted to fall in love and get married in my 20s, have a family, and all those hopes and dreams that any 20-something person has. But as you know, I got married in my 50s. And how grateful I am that things worked out as they did, because Daryl is the only man for me. Well, I was often asked during that time of countless disappointments and losses how I remained so happy. Well, the short answer is that I chose to be happy. But I want to refer you to podcast number 16, which is also a podcast on gratitude. And therein lies the story that I will refer to now. I hate to be redundant, so please go back and listen to it as I share the story about the colors or the blessings or the attributes in our lives. You've got to hear the story for this to make more sense. But the message I got from the story that I shared was that we all have colors or attributes in our lives. This could be our house or our apartment, our friends, our family, our physical or personality characteristics, our talents, our capabilities, our opportunities. These are the aspects or the colors of our lives. Well, as we go through life, we will lose some colors and we will gain some colors. They will undoubtedly change. But at any given point in time, we have the colors to be happy. And happiness comes from focusing on the colors that we do have, not the ones we don't. This is one of the greatest truths in the universe. I could identify with little Stephanie in the story. I too love the color pink. And the pink in my life, the color that I wanted so bad that I didn't have, was a husband. And there were times in my life when I zeroed in on that color. So much so that I didn't want to go to certain activities where spouses were invited because I didn't have a spouse. Or I felt uncomfortable because I didn't have that color. I felt sad at times because I didn't have that color. I felt less than because I didn't have that color. And yet I had some awesome colors or attributes in my life. I had the color of great parents, a great job, amazing friends, a testimony of God and Jesus Christ. I had so many great things in my life, and yet when I turned my focus to the colors or what I didn't have, I instantly was unhappy. As you know, I am a teen life coach, and I try to teach this principle to the teens that I coach. I live in a very affluent area. These young people have everything they want and more, and many of them are unhappy. One of the reasons for this is because of this very principle. Let's take a very simple example. Let's say that they are able to hang out or to game with their friends for 2 hours. And then mom says it's time to come home. And they just want 30 more minutes to finish the game or to hang out a little longer. Now, the color or the privilege that they had was 2 hours. But now they want 30 more minutes. So their focus shifts and is now on the 30 minutes. Well, their attitude shifts as well. And they become mad and irritable at their mom. They were happy a minute before, but now that their focus has changed, they are angry and upset. I try to explain to them that it's not their mom that made them mad. It's not their teacher who gave them more assignments. It's not their friends who disappointed them. But instead, it's the moment that they wanted more. More time, more money, more attention, more things, more friends, more favors, more of anything. That is when we become upset. That focus on more is what makes us unhappy, not the thing or the person. It's our focus. It's that shift. Well, this principle goes for everything. I'll never forget a friend who was so upset that she and her husband couldn't have a third child. She was in tears as she was sharing this with me, who would have been thrilled to have found my husband. The third child was the color or the privilege or the attribute she didn't have. That absence of giving birth to a third child is not what upset her. It was her focus on the color or that gift that she didn't have versus the ones that she did, which was a husband and 2 great kids. Does this make sense? For example, we might have wished that we had a mother with the color of tenderness, but instead she has the color of strength. We might have wished that we married a person with the color of caring, but instead we got the color of fun. We might have wished that we had a friend with the color of selflessness, but instead has the color of loyalty. It applies to all areas of our lives when we are grateful for the colors, the gifts, the attributes, the talents that we do have. We are content and happy. Remember, gratitude turns what we have into enough. The moment that we want more, that we pivot to a place of unhappiness, which means we are responsible for our happiness. As I have mentioned before, all roads lead back to personal responsibility. This is what I feel President Nelson was counseling us to do by posting what we are grateful for. I believe he was trying to get us to change our focus. He knew this would take us from a place of despair and sadness to a place of happiness. Now, having said this, even when our focus is on what we have and we feel deep gratitude, it doesn't mean our heart doesn't break and we don't experience pain or grief. Gratitude does not eliminate pain, as President Nelson said. But this is what I know to be true. When we nurture a heart that is gracious, one that is focused on what we have versus what we don't, we are more resilient to the pain, the challenges, and the trials we are asked to face. I can promise you that as we come from a place of gratitude, we see the world differently. We see our circumstances differently. We see our trials differently. We see our family differently. We see God differently. So when challenges come our way, we are not as likely to become bitter or hardened or depressed or feel like a victim. Those feelings just don't stick around in a gracious heart. There isn't space for them to stay when our heart is full of gratitude. So I just want to leave you with this thought or this challenge. First, listen to the 11-minute message by President Nelson, and then take a moment to write down the colors of your life. I have the young people do this. I have them name their friends, their family, their personality characteristics, their physical traits, their school, their opportunities, and all the attributes of their lives. And then I tell them that there will be times that they will lose some of their colors and times that they will gain different colors. And it will be sad to lose a best friend or the ability to go to school or not play sports, but that they will also gain colors throughout their life. I'm coaching a boy right now who's lost the color or the ability to play basketball due to a knee injury, but is gaining the color or learning to play the piano instead. The key is to, at any given point in time, is to focus on the colors that we do have, not the ones we don't. I invite you to do the same. It's truly the quickest and most enduring way to happiness. And remember, if we aren't happy, we just need to change our focus. It's up to us. It's entirely up to us as to how happy we will be. Well, I hope this makes sense, and oh, how I love this time of year. Even in COVID or in a world of chaos right now, we have so much to be grateful for. Let's keep that as our focus. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.